What are you learning about in school right now?
We're learning about the water cycle.
That's cool. What have you learned about it so far?
We've learned that there are 3 stages and 4 elements.
Correct. Everybody knows about the water cycle.
What's the water cycle?
You don't know what the water cycle is?
No, can you guys help me?
Sure. We'll start with the 3 stages: precipitation, evaporation, and condensation. The precipitation is an important stage in the water cycle.
Precipitation? What's that?
Precipitation is when water falls from the clouds in the sky in some form, such as snow, hail, or rain. Well, the forecast is... Ah, there it is! Rain! So?
That's cool, but how does the water get up in the clouds?
That's called evaporation. That's another stage in the water cycle. That's next. Come on, I'll show you. Action.
The stage of the water cycle where water turns into gas is called evaporation.
I never knew that.
This is an example of evaporation.
Wow, was that the last stage?
That is called condensation. My friend can teach you that.
Water cycle is condensation.
Well, if evaporation is when water turns into a gas, then would condensation when a gas turns into a liquid?
Correct. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I see that the water vapor is turning into little droplets on the bottom of the metal lid on this pan.
That is called condensation.
Cool. Now I know the 3 stages of the water cycle: precipitation, evaporation, and condensation.
Sublimation is an element of the water cycle.
What is sublimation?
Sublimation is when a solid turns into a gas and skips the liquid stage.
So like a piece of dry ice, giving off a gas?
Exactly.
How many elements are there, and what are they?
There are 4 elements: transpiration, sublimation, runoff, and infiltration.
Can you please tell me about these other elements?
Let's start with runoff.
What the heck is that?
Runoff is when water flows from land to the lake, river, or ocean.
So I see that this water is flowing from the rocks to the water.
That is an example of runoff.
Cool. What's next?
Okay.
I have no telling what that is.
It's easy. Infiltration is when water enters the soil on the ground.
That's easy to remember. Isn't there one more element?
Yes. Do you know what it's called?
Transpiration?
Correct. I gotta go. My friend is gonna teach you about that.
Oops.
The last element is transpiration.
Did you say transportation?
Transpiration.
What's that?
Transpiration is when plants give off water.
So plants work out and then sweat?
Yes. Take these plants for example.
Cool. One more question.
Yeah?
Why is the water cycle important?
The water cycle is important because, well, we'll get to that next.
Fine! Now I know about the 3 stages: precipitation, evaporation, condensation, and the 4 elements: sublimation, transpiration, runoff, and infiltration.
Now back to the question about why the water cycle is important.
I know why. Because if there was no water cycle, then every living thing would die.
Correct. Also, the water cycle wasn't there if the water wouldn't spread around the earth.
Don't forget that thanks to the water cycle, there will always be water.
Who are you?
The question is, who am I?
Okay.
The end. My name is Frank.